What's good, everyone? This is BizCoon back at you with another reaction to Finding Sky on the consequences of growing up online. The last time we reacted to Finding Sky, it was in the context of LGBT conservatives, which for some might seem like an oxymoron, and for others it would be seen as self-hatred. But today, we're talking about people who pretty much grew up with the internet. Now, as for me, the internet didn't become a major part of my life until around the time I was in middle school, which was around like the early 2010s, where I would go online and like watch like YouTube poops, and I remember there was a time where I watched like Annoying Orange, and I would also watch like video game playthroughs, and that was also when I started watching like speedruns, I think. Or maybe I'm thinking of a different year, but around the time that I was in middle school into high school is when I really got exposed to the internet. But I think this video might be talking about, I guess, iPad babies, or kids that pretty much grew up looking at iPads, whether that be playing games where the only thing you do is just tap the button over and over and over again, or God forbid Coco Melon, which if you guys know anything about how shady Coco Melon does its business, you'd be in for a wild ride in that context. But before we get started, make sure you guys go check out Finding Sky and her original video so that you can show her some support. And then you can come back here, and depending on how the algorithm decides, because apparently the algorithm changed, so please be sure to watch this video all the way through, watch her video all the way through, leave a like, a comment, and subscribe, and let us go ahead and see just how bad it is to grow up online.
Whenever I start to think about how much time I've wasted watching videos on the internet, I start to panic. And then I pick up my phone and distract myself by continuing to watch videos on the internet.
No shit. I mean, whenever I think about how much, well, I don't think about how much time I spend on the internet, because quite frankly, it doesn't really bother me. And I've never really panicked at such a thing like that. I know that sounds... maybe I'm part of the problem if I'm not worried about how much time. I mean, I wake up and scroll through YouTube to look for something to watch. I usually watch the daily Nuxanor upload when I wake up. But as of recently, when I started this YouTube channel, I've been using more of that time to like edit and upload videos and stuff. And I also work a 9-to-5 job where I'll listen to videos as I'm working. But sometimes I will just endlessly scroll through YouTube in order to find something that I'm interested in, only to find that there's not really much of anything for me to watch, which is probably one of the symptoms of growing up online, so to speak.
I can feel my brain getting dumber. I can feel my life passing me by, and yet I'm stuck in an endless scroll like a gambling addict rolling slots waiting for the next dopamine hit. Get on the internet and go make something of yourself. Delaying gratification? In this digital economy, where I can Google Ultra HD 4K videos of hot moms?
Oh god, no. I don't want to do that. I mean, that's not to say that I've never felt things, but I'm sure we've all felt things at some point, but whether or not we went all the way, that's something that you should probably just keep to yourself.
Where I can develop parasocial relationships with VTubers?
The inverse of... yeah, when people say that Nuxanor has a parasocial relationship with Jaden Animations. You see, me, Nux, Jaden Animations, Tectone, Asmongold, and More Pegasus and I are reacting to Finding Sky because the Finding Sky situation is insane.
You kidding? I mean, there's just endless amounts of worldly pleasures available to me for little to no effort. Men used to have to work their entire lifetime to see some boobies.
Honestly, with regards to quote-unquote earthly pleasures, personally, I think they're all kind of overrated. I mean, yeah, chocolate is nice. I don't really like chocolate that as much as not even when I was a kid. I never really cared that much for chocolate. I mean, when it comes to something like a Reese's or a Kit Kat or any of those types of chocolates that have stuff inside them, Yeah, I'll eat them like every now and then, but never all the time. I've always been a fruit-flavored gummy candy enjoyer. Although even then, I haven't really eaten as much sugary candies and stuff as I used to. I don't really care for those kinds of things anymore. Even today, when it comes to petty little pleasures, I've just kind of grown numb to them. They don't really satisfy me at all. In fact, there are other things that I get, I guess, dopamine rushes from that are not those things. But I'll just have to, let's just keep going.
Now I can just Google it. People used to have to learn hobbies to entertain themselves, but now they can just go on YouTube and watch somebody else do their hobbies.
No
Internet
shit.
addiction is a very common experience.
Yeah, which is exactly what you're doing right now. You're reacting to someone. Oh my god. You're watching someone watch something. Doesn't get any more YouTube brain rot than that. So maybe I am part of the problem, but guess what? This is something that I like to do, and I'm just gonna keep doing it until the internet decides that it wants to croak.
For a vast majority of my generation. We grew up on the internet, which offered more stimulation than anything in real life ever could. What can I say? Sunsets are way prettier when the saturation is boosted to 200.
We're talking about this background here, like all this. I don't know. I mean, I've seen a lot of pretty sunsets in real life before, and I mean, I've seen a lot of pretty sunrises, but with my current sleep schedule, the sunrises may as well be my worst enemy.
Looks way better when you color correct the water to be ultra aquamarine blue. Everything online is in perfect contrast, bright colors, and fast edits that leave you no time to wonder, maybe I should get off my phone. These mysterious screens are infinitely more rewarding and engaging than anything in real life. If I'm balls deep in Bleak Falls Barrow and 3 bad...
I mean, I know I keep saying that I'm part of the problem, but there are a lot of things in real life that I enjoy a hell of a lot more than being on a phone. Like, I love playing board games with friends. I mean, I haven't done it in a while, but whenever we would play, like, little board games and stuff, no, I would be, like, super engaged. I freaking love just interacting with other people. It's something that I like to do. Granted, a lot of people these days don't want anything to do with other people, but I'm just saying.
He's pull up ready to bang. I'm gonna just have to be like, nah, bro, I'm busy. I feel like I could be at the coolest amusement park on the planet, and if my favorite YouTuber uploaded, I would be more interested in their video. In fact,
pretty much how I feel. I have like a bunch of YouTubers that I watch on a regular basis because I just like them in particular. Although there are some YouTubers that I quote unquote like because they have like either they're covering something that's like relevant and like in the news, but then they say things that I'm like, okay, what?
I have experienced this exact situation firsthand. When I was like 10 or 11, my family took a trip to Disney World, and I remember absolutely nothing about the attractions. But I do remember being completely miserable the entire time because I wanted to go back to the hotel and watch Captain Sparkles build Jerry's treehouse in Minecraft.
Damn. It's like, imagine going to someplace like Disney World and not even enjoying it because you'd rather just be at home. Part of me is kind of grateful that that if I was to go to places like that, I would actually at least try to make the most of it. Granted, for my senior year, senior year, we went to this one amusement park. I'm not gonna say where it is for anonymity's sake, but all of my friends went all over the park and got on all the rides. And there was only one thing that I did the whole day that we were there, and that was play Dance Dance Revolution, because it was the only thing that was worth it for me. I played it all day because it was the only thing that, because I didn't have any immediate access to any machines at the time. I mean, I do now, but at that point, it was like, yeah, I'd rather just do this. But when it comes to other things, I would much rather just do things in real life than sit on and scroll my phone endlessly. I think actually doing things is more rewarding.
This is unfortunately a true story. These video games and the internet that I used to watch other people play these games on, it was my entire life. It's all that I thought about, it's all that I did. When I was at school, I would...
Oh, this actually reminds me. I remember quite a lot of my time on the internet wasn't even necessarily watching videos, but it was researching the bizarre world of linguistics. I became obsessed with phonetics, learning about the IPA vowel and consonant charts, learning the Greek alphabet, and learning about language families, like the Indo-European language family. And I used to spend a lot of time browsing Wikipedia, just learning about all of these things, because there was something about them that just fascinated me. I could never figure out what it was. Like, honestly, I couldn't figure it out. And there were times where I would be at school, and and instead of actually paying attention in class, especially like language arts class, I would just look through articles about linguistics. And I don't know what it is. I really want to make linguistics related videos, but knowing the type of content I've been making, it might be very difficult to convince people to want to watch them.
Try to come up with my own Minecraft parodies in class. I would make actual to-do lists for what I was going to do in Minecraft that day when I got home. These games and YouTube videos were my escape from reality. They were seemingly my only source of happiness. I had zero interest in doing anything else. I was, and still am, dopaminergically I'm tired of having a preference for...
And that's the thing. When people do these kinds of things, they go on the internet and watch videos or they play games, they usually do it as a form of escapism. There has to be something about me in particular that's an exception to the rule. I know I keep making a point that I'm probably part of the problem, or at the very least a symptom of the problem, but I've never really viewed me enjoying video games or watching videos as escapism. I've always viewed them as just entertainment, not necessarily escaping from the real world. Like, yes, sometimes I'll be at work and I try to look for something to watch, and it's like, well, it's not, I don't really think of it as escapism as much as it is just boredom. Like, when I'm endlessly scrolling through YouTube to find something, I just get super bored, and that's why I like going out and doing things, but I can't really find the motivation because I don't really know. I mean, I know quite a few people, but I know that they're not always going to be available to you hang out, right? We all have busy lives and busy schedules, and they can't always line up, but I would like to at least try my best.
Relationship in which the other person is completely oblivious to my existence. And when I try to detach myself from the internet, when I do try to go outside and touch grass, I find that there's nobody else outside trying to touch grass with me. It's not like there's just a bunch of people outside frolicking the fields waiting for me to go talk to them.
Pretty much how I feel. I want to be able to, like, hang out with others and just, you know, pal around, play games, and all that sort of stuff. And I don't mean like house parties, you know, where everyone gets drunk all the time. I honestly don't really like that stuff. I don't really like going to like those types of parties where people are getting drunk or getting high and dancing to music and all that. I like playing board games with my high school friends. We would play games like that. And it's so much, it was and it is a lot of fun. And I've also got back into playing Yu-Gi-Oh! In particular, and that's been something. It's been pretty fun just being able to play with other, just not necessarily just hanging out, just interacting more than anything else.
Go out, everyone is in their 40s with kids. Now listen, there's a case to be made for befriending these hot moms, but that's a subject for another video. My generation has some unique issues. The population pyramid that's supposed to look like an actual pyramid is starting to invert. This means that there are less young people. And actually, When I look back on my life and I see when I became chronically online, it was the same time that we moved out of our old neighborhood and into one where there were no other kids around.
I didn't even think about that. No, there was a time where my family lived in a particular neighborhood, and I would often hang out with the other neighbor kids. But when we moved to a different neighborhood, suddenly we stopped hanging out with neighbor kids, mostly because we didn't know any of the neighbor kids. I knew like a few, like one or two, but we never really hung out. Now, granted, this happened when I was in the 5th grade, and I still had like kids in school, but when it comes to the kids that were already in this new neighborhood, we didn't know anyone. I didn't know anyone, and nobody else really knew anyone, and so we never really hung out with anyone. So that honestly puts things into a lot of perspective.
I went from living directly next door to kids my age to being surrounded by a bunch of retired fossils. All of the friendships I developed due to the close proximity I had with them all fell apart when I moved away, and there were no other kids around for me to be able to establish new connections. Imagine...
The thing is, there were other kids, but I didn't know any of them, and I never made the effort to want to hang out with them.
Every day you get off the bus and come home to a completely empty house. Mom's at work, dad disappeared 10 years ago, nobody's home, there's nobody to talk to. Of course, I went to the internet and pulled up YouTube. What else was supposed to fill the silence? And inevitably, these YouTubers in some strange, sad way became my best friends, despite the fact that they didn't even know I existed.
So, I mean, personally, I've never really felt that watching YouTube. Whenever I would watch YouTube videos, it was purely because that's the thing. I must be an exception to the rule. Like I said, I never really thought of it as escapism, and I never really felt attached to any particular YouTuber. Like, I remember there were some YouTubers that I would watch like all the time, but then later on, years down the line, I kind of stopped watching them, either because they kind of faded into obscurity, or maybe they started saying things that I had a problem with, and so I just kind of fell out of favors. But I don't know, maybe I don't know what it is with me that's just, I don't know.
I even sent fan mail to some of these people. I would send them drawings of their game characters and long letters about how much I loved their videos. Now you may be thinking, okay, so maybe socialization wasn't really an option for you when you were a kid due to your environment. That sucks, but that's something you should be able to grow out of when you get older and get a car. That way you have more access to people in real life. But here's the thing. Growing up online caused me to develop a preference for parasocial relationships. The people I found online, they liked the same things as me, and I related to them. I never had to learn how to have a reciprocal relationship with someone. I got all the benefits of having a friendship without any of the investment. I saw a trend on YouTube not long ago of commentaries about why Gen Z are not good friends. And they bring up some good points in these videos, but
I wonder if I should investigate those videos at some point. Once my avatar is ready, I want to start streaming. I'll have to figure out how I want to go about that. Like, I want to be able to like make videos out of the streams, but I'd have to find a time to like edit and upload them outside of streaming. And since I work a 9 to 5 job that goes pretty late into the night, it would be kind of hard to want to be able to do something like that, but you know.
I feel like something that people leave out is the existence of these parasocial relationships and just access to entertainment in general. If people didn't have access to their favorite content creators or this online entertainment, then they would essentially have to go out and make friends. Because if someone feels lonely without access to the internet, they seek friendship. But if someone feels lonely with access to the internet, they pull up YouTube. The crazy truth is, people don't need friendships anymore to fulfill their social needs. They can get it online. And that's a problem because parasocial relationships are objectively way more convenient than establishing an actual friendship. Parasocial relationships are just fast food for loneliness. One of the major consequences of growing up online is the limitation it places on your ability to find and nurture your natural interests. When you have something as infinitely stimulating as the internet available to you, any inclination towards an interest outside of it will be quickly overridden. As a kid, you may...
But as I was explaining earlier, like, even at school, I would spend time looking up, like, it didn't matter what class it was. What would happen is that, like, I would get all my work done, and then I would just, when I was done, I would go online and just look up random linguistics related things, and it's like, I don't understand why. Eventually, it kind of culminated into, I mean, I don't know how to describe it, but And then there was a time, there was a point in time where I kind of just stopped doing homework altogether. Because, and there are plenty of people who have done that before, and let's just say that I barely made it through high school because of English class in particular.
Have had affinities towards certain activities. Maybe you wanted to learn how to play piano. What are you, gay? Or maybe you wanted to learn how to paint. Your parents may have even bought you some painting materials for Christmas, but unfortunately they also bought you a phone, and that phone happened to be a million times better. Nurturing interest.
Some of my siblings have a lot of art supplies because they like to draw a lot, even though yes, they do have like tablets, but they still do those kinds of things because it's something that they like to do. I don't know if some of my siblings definitely have that, let's call it Gen Alpha brain rot, referencing Skibbity Toilet, but I don't even want to get into that.
Can be hard work. There's a steep learning curve to things like playing an instrument or painting. Learning these things can be very frustrating and challenging, especially in the beginning. But you also develop very valuable and important skills from this. It teaches you lessons on perseverance and persistence.
And that's kind of what I've been trying to do with this YouTube channel. I'm gonna keep trying to nurture the channel to help it grow and stuff. And with your guys' support, click the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment. Hopefully I'll be able to get it to where it needs to go. Right now, it's only been like a month or two, so I don't expect results right away. Although, it's definitely been gaining at least some traction, which I'm very, very grateful for. So, thank you for your support.
And just like riding a bike, skills that are nurtured in childhood tend to stick with you throughout adulthood. But when you're a kid, you don't know any of that. You just know that screen equals fun and painting equals hard. So when you get bored, you go to the easy activity instead of the hard one. Of course, kids are going to take the path of least resistance. They're little pleasure-seeking creatures. They don't know any better.
It has to deal with, like, energy. Your body wants to use it. It wants to maximize efficiency while minimizing energy output, if that makes any sense. We are like biologically and evolutionarily hardwired to want to take the path of least resistance because it preserves energy. But in this day and age, I think we've pretty much broken that skill, I guess we can call it. I wouldn't call it a skill, it's more of an inherent trait, but yeah, it's been exploited more than anything. Yeah, exploited is a better word.
Highly stimulating outlet was not available to them. However, the boredom likely would have led them to spend their time actually nurturing their interests or being social. I remember when I was a very young kid, before I found out that screens were a portal to the alternate universe, I was actually very creative. I would spend most of my day building with Legos, drawing, dancing, and spending time with friends. And then
she's not wrong. I kind of have that. I mean, I did play like a lot of video games as a kid. No, I remember I was obsessed with Crazy Taxi and Zelda the Wind Waker. Oh my god, I was so obsessed with Wind Waker as a kid because my sister had it, and then I wanted to play. I played it all the way through at least once, and my parents got upset with me because I spent more time playing Wind Waker than doing my homework, which, fair enough, but I was a kid at the time, and well, so clearly that might have something to do with it, but she's not wrong. But even to this day, today I would consider myself to be, I guess, one of the more lucky ones when it comes to growing up with having the internet as through the course of puberty, basically. But I don't know.
One of them introduced me to Minecraft. And it was over before it began. What do you mean there's a world of infinite Legos? I'm never leaving. When you ask people these days, what do you like to do? More often than not, they're going to respond with a consumption activity. Oh, I like watching Netflix, listening to music, watching sports. Yeah, here's the thing, that's not really a hobby.
If someone were to ask me what do I like to do, well, I like to play games. I mean, I do like watching videos, I do it, but I also like playing DDR and playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And I like doing other things of that nature. I wish I could do more of it more often, but with my schedule and work, it can be very hard to find the time.
You're not doing anything. You're just sitting idly while your brain is being passively distracted. These are not activities. They are time fillers. A lot of people these days don't have actual hobbies or interests outside of a screen. They might socialize over the weekend, but even that normally just involves sipping a beer and watching a football game. It's socializing over a screen. And look, I'm not advocating for everyone to try to become the next Van Gogh. I'm not saying you have to pick up some creative hobby that you take super seriously, but like maybe it would be worth exploring your interests and pursuing them. Try to do something that is actively engaging for your brain and isn't constantly bombarding your reward circuit with dopamine. I want to give you a 3-step process with a very low barrier to entry that really helped me distance myself from screen time. Step 1 is to go to a library or a bookstore and find a book that interests you. This sounds simple enough, but there are some rules for this. Don't go on Amazon and read the reviews.
Before judging a book by its cover.
Don't watch a YouTube video about it. Don't go to the internet to help your decision making at all. Just spend an hour at a bookstore, skimming through the titles, reading the backs of books, and pick one that you genuinely find interesting. This is an exploration of your own individual interests without the influence of anybody else's. The second step of this is to delete all of the social media apps off of your phone. YouTube, X, TikTok, Reddit, all of them have to go. That way, if you do instinctively...
Yeah, I mentioned in a video I made a little while ago that I don't really have any other social media accounts. I really don't want to get social media accounts. I don't want a Facebook or an Instagram or a Twitter or any of that stuff because I know how toxic all of those places can be. And it's like, why should I spend my time looking at things that frustrate me when I could be doing things that are actually productive?
Pick up your phone, which you will. The apps aren't sitting there waiting for you to click on them. And when you notice that they're gone, it'll snap you back into the mindset of, oh yeah, I'm trying to avoid these. And step 3 is for the rest of the week, you leave this book directly by your phone. And anytime you get the urge to pick up your phone and re-download these apps, you pick up the book instead. Books.
Well, this actually reminds me, there are times where I would wake up and then I would check to see the time on my phone and I would check to see what videos have been uploaded, and then I'll put my phone back down and just close my eyes again because I enjoy sleeping in. Granted, I know that sleeping in isn't exactly the best thing, but given the way that my current schedule is, I can actually afford to do it.
Especially fiction, are still forms of distraction and entertainment. They're still time fillers, but they're not damaging like screen time is. Reading actively engages your brain, and it reestablishes the attention span you lost after years of doom scrolling. After a couple days, you may find that reading can actually be quite meditative, and your reading sessions won't leave you feeling drained like your doom scrolling sessions usually do. And if you...
Yeah, the thing is, when it comes to me playing DDR or Yu-Gi-Oh, with DDR, it includes like exercise, and exercise is good for your brain. It improves your brain power. Like with DDR, you have to be able to like react to all sorts of patterns and stuff like that. And so so not only is it good for your legs, it can be good for your brain. And Yu-Gi-Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh is a very complicated card game with all sorts of rules and all that. And it requires a lot of quick thinking. So and coincidentally, they're both made by Konami, which I don't want to talk about. But both of these games are very engaging for like different reasons. One, because at least one, you have to be able to exercise, and the other, you have to be able to like memorize and remember and react. And it's like, so things like that can really help you out if you find like legitimate hobbies that you can really immerse yourself in, and it takes away from all the other, I guess, distractions. And it's like, yeah, it's like a lot of people go, like, I know that Hank Hill will go fishing because it's like Bobby will want extra syrup on his pancakes, and Hank will be all like, that's it, I'm going fishing, because he doesn't want to have to deal with it.
Get bored of reading or you don't have the energy to focus on it, just sit there and do nothing. As counterintuitive as it sounds, sitting down and doing nothing is actually more productive than doom scrolling and overloading your brain.
Oh, this reminds me of something else that I do. During the summer, I would often hang out in the garage and just talk to myself. I know that sounds weird, but no, talking to myself, just thinking my thoughts out loud in hopes of like being able to manifest them in some way. Like, if I knew that I wanted to react to a video, sometimes I'll think of a script and just enact it while in the garage and just repeat the same thing over and over again. Yeah, it sounds weird, and my siblings made fun of me for it. But no, I mean, not only is it that it is just a nice brisk warmth of the garage, knowing that, I mean, right now the air conditioner is blowing, and I mean, yeah, it's summer right now as of the making of this video, but that's something that I like to do. Pace myself about the garage and just talk to myself. And once again, I know that sounds weird because I know that according to Jin Rummy from the Boondocks, the name that refers to people that talk to themselves is the homeless. But I'm not exactly homeless. If I was homeless, I wouldn't have a garage. And as a matter of fact, it's not even my house. I live with my family at the moment.
People rarely have moments of silence to just sit with themselves and think, and that's not a good thing. Something that I also found while doing this was the natural inclination towards completing tasks that I had at one point procrastinated. After an hour or so of reading, I would start to get bored, and just instinctively I would get up and start cleaning my room.
Oh, and another thing. Oh my god, I keep bringing up more things that this all reminds me of. When I'm at work, whenever there's nothing to listen to on my headphones, not only will I talk to myself as I work, granted that everyone else leaves. I work later than all the other employees, since it's just not only is it the schedule that I've chosen, but it's just the nature of my job. Not only would I talk to myself and enact, like, you know, my thoughts, I would sing as well. I love singing. In fact, singing is something that I want to do. I want to be able to, like, sing songs and make song covers for this channel. It's something that I've wanted to do for such a long time. But there are two main things that stop me. One, I need a proper setup. A basement is with an air conditioner blowing is not exactly the ideal environment for singing songs. And two, copyright. I want to be able to work around copyright. I don't want to get copyright struck because I sang a song that I really wanted to sing. So I'm hoping that if this channel ever takes off the way that I would like it to, then I would be able to. There are ways to, like, get licenses to sing songs, but I don't want to have to do that right now. Right now, the only reason I'm making React content is because it's very basic, but I just want to start out small and work my way up to something big.
Go to the gym or call up a friend. Things that once felt really hard and unnatural when my phone was distracting me became much easier. I wasn't being met with resistance in the same way that I would have when I was compulsively using my phone. A point that I really want to emphasize with this video is that your brain is not broken. Your brain is designed to seek the most amount of reward with the least amount of effort.
It's a science. It's like an extension of entropy. I mean, your body wants to do the most things while preserving the most energy. That's just how it's always been for millions of years, for all life on Earth. It's been like that even for billions of years, from the smallest of microbes to the biggest of trees. They want to maximize as much activity as possible while minimizing as much energy that's being used as possible.
Isn't a flaw, this is just a part of your natural design. And it's things like the internet, TV shows, video games that are exploiting this design. After enough time, normal activities start to feel really challenging because they are higher investment and lower reward. You're not broken, you're broken.
Oh god, watching her climb this tree. I remember in the old neighborhood that I used to live in elementary school, there was this tree that was right outside my house. And me and the neighbor kids would climb it. Every now and then we would just climb it and then climb back down, and climb it up and down again, and it was fun. It grew little, not cherries. I don't know what type of fruit it was, but it grew these little fruits that looked like cherries, but we couldn't eat them. Apparently birds eat them, but you know.
Just like, what the hell, Yante? I want to play Dark Souls, and you're making me do homework. The only way
no shit. I want to play Wind Waker, and you're making me do homework.
To rebalance this investment to reward ratio is to withdraw from those low investment, high reward activities. Doing your work, going to the gym, making and maintaining friendships, these things are all high investment and low reward. You're expending a lot of energy up front for not a lot of immediate gain. But
the thing is, it's not that I don't want to make friendships, it's that I don't really know anyone. Like, I have my high school friends who I haven't talked to in a long time. And then I have my DDR friends who I kind of called out in a video that I made a few days ago. And I don't know if they've noticed it yet. And now I have Yu-Gi-Oh! Friends that I don't really know that well, but I have known for about almost a year at this point. But we don't really, I don't really hang out with them outside of locals, but I know that I enjoy spending time with these people.
You build up interest by doing this. The results come after months or years of compounding, but you can never get to that point if you don't first withdraw from the immediately rewarding stimulus. You can't watch AI slot for an hour and then expect to do meaningful work. You can't spend 6 hours on YouTube and then expect to want to socialize. Your brain is fried. You are tranquilized off of cheap dopamine. My childhood in many ways was stolen from me. Stolen by screen time that I never knew could have such negative consequences.
Yeah.
I can't help but feel like Zoomers are the guinea pigs of a social experiment gone terribly wrong.
Do you know... The VTuber Nuxanor believes that it's a part of a conspiracy for the government to want to control our kids, where we have all of these expensive houses with the high cost of living that requires both parents to have to work full-time jobs just to be able to support their families and their houses and stuff, where the kids are basically at the mercy of the government, where the government is trying to quote-unquote indoctrinate them with, in his view, it's radical left-wing ideology, which I understand that, but sometimes it's like the quote-unquote breaking of the family unit, as they say, like saying that when you're a girl, the schools will tell you, oh, you don't need no man, you don't need any kids, you can girl boss your way through life and be lonely. You don't need anyone to support you, and you don't need to support anyone except yourself. And then guys are taught that you're all a bunch of sex-addicted rapists. Who, the moment that you get laid, you will abandon not only the person you laid with, but you will abandon the child that the two of you conceived so that you can stay in your smelly man cave, eat Mountain Dew and Doritos all day, and just play Elden Ring and get fat. The fact that it seems that's what we're being taught, and it just causes people to get radicalized in one direction or the other. It's no wonder that this generation seems quote-unquote cooked.
But just because your childhood has been stolen, don't let it steal the rest of your life.
Damn. No, that was certainly that was actually kind of intense. It kind of revealed a lot about myself in many ways. Like, I've realized that I seem to be more of an exception than the rule. Like, as I said, I never really considered the internet or video games to be escapism. I always engaged with them because they were just fun for me. I never really thought of them as escapism, but in some ways, maybe I'm just in denial. I don't really know if I even believe the words I'm saying right now. I like to think that I do, that I really don't think that in my case it's escapism. I found other things boring, but I found all these other things fun. And I never really thought of it as escaping the world, but either way, but if you guys can leave a comment to let each other know what you think. I mean, if you guys have any stories that you would want to tell each other, feel free to go down in the comments and just talk amongst yourselves. And be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and make sure you guys go check out Finding Sky. Some deep stuff, honestly. Now, my Finding Sky videos don't really get as much attention, at least from what I could tell. But I'm trying to find out what works and what doesn't, and I'm going to keep trying until I find something that works and sticks. So anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys again.